Okay, so I got a Whirlpool dishwasher here. I've put it through drain 2 times, just using the cancel and drain button, and it still doesn't drain. Looks like his drain hose runs through the cabinets. So this hose is from the dishwasher. That black hose that shouldn't really be there is connected to that hose. It runs through the cabinet into here and up into the plumbing for the sink. That's the only place he can run the drain line, so we're going to try to make everything shorter. We're still going to have to use this black hose, which I hate using, but it kind of needs to happen. And I think I'm going to change the drain pump on this guy too, because the drain pump is so burnt out from trying to pump that far that it's not doing too well either. So let's get at it. Okay, so that is disconnected from the black line. There was quite a bit of water in there and it stunk. It's been sitting in there for a while. So now that it's disconnected, we can work on pulling out the dishwasher. There should be, yeah, a couple screws on the top here just holding it in. Once we undo those, we'll have to look underneath, take that kick plate off, and just see if the water line is a flex line or PEX or copper or whatever it is, because we might have to disconnect it before we can move the dishwasher. Okay, so we got the screws unbolted. Looks like there is a flex line on that water valve, so we should have at least some room. But somebody put the tile in after the dishwasher was installed, so we have to run these feet up in order to get this thing out, because it'll never come out like that. I just use a 3/16 socket, and I'll run those up as high as I can. Hopefully we'll be able to pull it out. Okay, so I had to disconnect the water line because that's all there was for a flex line, which is all right. Now I got to pull through the drain line through the cabinet over there. I always put a rag at the end of it, just so any water that's going to be coming out isn't getting all over the inside of the cabinetry. So I'll pull that through and tip this dishwasher over. Okay, so most times you do something like this in somebody's house, you find things that are weird. This right here, that is not a factory connection. Sorry, I'm breathing so hard. I've been flipping all over the place and running and trying to shut off the breaker, which if you haven't by now, definitely shut off the breaker. So we're going to be changing this drain line, but it'll have the proper end on it now. So that'll actually help a little bit, because when you have something that narrows it down like this, that's just a point for everything to get stuck. So drain pump right here, there's just a little notch that you got to push in and turn it out. So it's just the white part here, but I want to take this hose off and just see what comes out of there. Okay, so we got the hose off of here. We don't necessarily have to take it off. It just makes it a little easier to take off this drain pump part, but there's a point, I don't know if you guys can see that, it's back behind here. You just push in this little tab and turn the whole thing out. Sometimes you'll get a bunch of water, sometimes you don't, just depends on how your dishwasher's sitting. Looks like we're going to have a little bit, but have a rag ready just in case. So, yeah, this is that tab that we pushed in right here, and that just lets it be able to be turned. So yeah, we'll disconnect that wiring and put the new pump on. Okay, so here's a new pump. We've hooked up the wires to it. This big piece goes back towards the back here. It's kind of hard to see. There's not a lot of light in here, but I just want to get it so it's able to be turned on. So we had to turn it clockwise last time, so we're going to turn it counterclockwise, and you'll hear that little click, and that's that way you know it's in. It's not tough to do. It just makes sure that all of these little ridges are on top of the little cams that they ride on. We're all good there. So before I hook this back up, I want to unhook it here because this line just feeds up the side of the dishwasher and back down to here, and just blow out anything that might be sitting in there. It can get pretty gross. Okay, so a bunch of crap came out of there, but I'm going to blow out this line into a bucket here, see what happens. Yeah, there was a bunch of gross stuff in there. So all of whatever the heck that is was sitting in that line. So hook this back up to the drain pump. Make sure I put that clamp back on, and we'll get the new line attached to this end and run it back through the cabinets. Okay, so right now as the dishwasher sits, we got the new line connected on there, so we'll have to run it back through that hole back there. It's probably easier to do it if it'll reach with the dishwasher just kind of sitting like this. That way it's not on the hose or anything like that. So we'll feed that through there, and I'll meet you guys in there. Okay, so we got the dishwasher back up. Just connected the fill line there. Okay, right there. So what I do now while it's still out here is I turn the water back on and make sure that that's not going to leak. I leave it for a couple minutes just to make sure, and then we can push it back in, put those legs back down. While you're pulling while you're pushing the dishwasher back in, make sure you're pulling that drain line also, because you don't want it to get kinked behind the dishwasher and you end up with a lot less line than you thought you had. So I've been pulling that through. I'm going to cut off some of that rubber too, just because we don't need it to be that long. The shorter it is, the better. Okay, so we got everything all leveled up and dishwasher resecured. So first time we run it after this, just going to put it on a normal cycle, but we're not going to let it run for too long. We just want to get some water into the machine and then make sure it's going to drain, because we don't want to have to deal with a whole bunch of water. And while this is happening, take a look at that water valve too, so we can always put it into a drain. There might not be enough water in there for it to actually, oh, actually you can hear it coming through. Hasn't come through like that in a long time. So I'm going to check that water valve, make sure no water came out. You should be able to see dripping, or because that wood underneath there is so dry, you'd see drops, and there is nothing. Check under the whole dishwasher because it has that copper pipe. I don't really trust those very much, so check out the whole bottom of the dishwasher after you've ran it for a little bit and make sure that there's no leaks. Okay, so we've had that water hooked up for quite a while and not one drip has come out. That doesn't mean that nothing won't come out of there when it runs. So what we'll do is we'll put it into a run and see how it goes. Okay, so let it fill up all the way. You look inside, it should have full water amount, which it does. All those filters and everything were cleaned also, just to make sure nothing else was gonna get into this drain line. Also checked where you connect the drain hoses and where the drain hose is connected to the sink, just to make sure after a drain that nothing is leaking. Looking good there. And that water is moving so well. And nothing there. I know it's a little dark in here, but let me open this one. So yeah, nothing leaking around there. The hose isn't leaking. We're all good. Okay, so yeah, that's how we do a drain pump and drain hose. And any dishwasher is pretty much the same. The drain pump can be bolted on or whatever to the bottom of the dishwasher, but yeah, that's generally it. So we'll see you in the next one. Hope you, if you take this on, that it goes well for you.